Thank you for introducing. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining my section. And today I'm going to talk about the exciting project named Magmaw on novel modality-agnostic adversarial attacks on machine learning-based wireless communication systems. This is a collaboration between UC San Diego and KDDI research. Before diving into wireless security, I will briefly introduce the machine learning in the wireless communication. So as you know, machine learning has revolutionized various domains, starting from healthcare and finance and self-driving vehicle. But these domains adopted machine learning earlier due to a vast available data set. And more recently, machine learning has been leveraged in wireless communication, which optimized the end-to-end transmission and also handling the interference very efficiently. And the traditional wireless communication used the handcrafted encoding and decoding in the wireless network. However, this has a limited problem that they are not adapt to the dynamic or complex environment. And these days, industry leaders are now investigating AI-native 6G communication for the integration of machine learning into the 6G signal processing modules. And many industry agencies like Apple, Nokia, Bell, they are all investigating this exciting technology in the 6G network. A key example is an end-to-end machine learning-driven wireless communication where machine learning-based receiver, a transmitter, learn to optimize the transmission, and machine learning-based receiver can reconstruct information even in the low channel quality. And it's still unclear why machine learning is very powerful in 6G communication, so I will briefly introduce some figures. As you see, traditional receiver struggle with the lossy channel, where noise, interference, or fading channel, they are reducing the channel quality or signal quality. Therefore, the receiver side or end user side cannot reconstruct the image. And machine learning-based receiver, however, they learn to optimize and adapt to the lossy channel, so therefore they are handling the interference very efficiently. And this makes machine learning-based driven wireless communication highly promising for next-gen network. And in addition to the image transmission in the previous example, machine learning models are tuned for multi-modality, such as video, text, speech, to convey the very semantic information more accurately than traditional one. So, but for the new technology, we need to consider the new secure vulnerability. And is the physical layer of next generation wireless network secure from the adversarial attacks? And no, as you know, there's a new attack surface, which is called adversarial attack. And this is from the computer. This research is very popular in the computer vision areas. So machine learning is known to be vulnerable to adversarial example, and adversary can carefully craft the small perturbation inside the input and then cause the machine learning system to misbehave in unexpected ways. So in wireless communication, the adversary can exploit this adversarial attack in the physical layer at the receiver's antenna side. And this can highly attract the adversary to leverage the adversarial attack to destroy our communication. And this is not, so our work is not the first work, but there are several previous research folks have proposed new methodology to craft the wireless perturbations. And for example, Brahmali et al., they generate the perturbation, but it's all in the simulation environment. And Liu et al., they try to make a physically realizable attack. And they show that it's really possible to destroy the base station or receiver side. However, their limitation is that they are only target the single modality, and their adversarial example cannot be generalizable to the different modality. like for example, if we train the perturbation from the image domain, but this perturbation cannot be transferable to video or other speech data transmission or CSI-based machine learning model. So our work, Magmaw, break this limitation. So here is our threat model. And Magmaw is a very real-world adversary, and sending the adversarial signal using the commercial off-the-shelf hardware, using, like, for example, the USRP. And Magmaw is injecting the very low-power adversarial perturbation signal, and it's a very comparable to the traditional jamming attack. Like, we are aimed to target making the perturbation in the very small power. And we also think about the threat model, like about how we awesome the black box or how we restrict the adversary's like capability. And compared to the previous one, so we make a more constrained attacker with limited knowledge of the victim communication system. So here is an example of the target wireless system Magmaw is aiming to destroy. And this is the typical like overflow of the machine learning-based wireless communication. So there are TX and RX. And TX is sending some multimodality data wirelessly to the receiver. So the TX sending the like complex value symbol YTQ to the receiver side. And when there's no attack, and so receiver can receive the symbol Y hat T, which is very similar to the original YTQ. So the receiver can reconstruct the data precisely. And we aim to make our attack physically realizable using the USRP. So we consider a lot of physical constraints, such as our time offset or frequency change. And we also make a power normalization at the end of the attack module so that our perturbation is a very low power signal. And this is the formulation how we generate the perturbation, and because of the time limit, so please refer to our paper. And after adversary sending this perturbation, the wireless receiver receives the perturbed symbol and with our perturbation. And we experiment this, we make this system in our GNU radio system, and we show the feasibility in the physical world. So this is our experimental setup. So we consider real-world attack scenario in our research lab, and there is like transmitter, receiver. They are either in line of sight or non-line of sight path, and we evaluate very like thoroughly. And our adversary is always in the behind the wall, so that our attack doesn't need to be physically close to the wireless channel. And we consider like standard metrics to measure the attack performance. So the PSNI is for image and video transmission, and mean square error is for the speech transmission. And BLEU is a measurement for the text quality, which is widely used in the NLP, natural language processing. We also compare our attack with many baseline attacks, including the previous ones, and also get or the part like a jamming attack. And yeah, we will show the experiments in the next slide. So this is the summary of our attack performance. And so in summary, our attack have a very high attack transferability across the different modalities. Like for example, in the image transmission, the perturbation is dropped by up to 8.04 decibel, which is really critical in the image domain. For the downstreaming task, excuse me. So for the downstreaming task, the receiver can leverage the received information to inference or query to another machine learning model, which is a video classification or image classification. And we also measure how our attack can also influence the different downstream tasks. And we show that our attack has a very high attack performance, and which is very close to white box attack. We also consider several defense, adaptive defense or strong defense. And the first is like mitigation-based defense, which is aimed to cancel the perturbation. And we show that this defense cannot degrade our attack performance, or slightly degrade, but it's still like attack perturbation is still destroy the original victim system. We also consider the detection-based method, which knows our perturbation samples, and we measure that even though the defender has our real perturbation sample, because of our very diverse perturbation generation technique, the defender cannot detect our perturbation. We also consider the encryption-based virus system because encryption is a basic component in the virus channel, and our attack is transferred to encryption-based channel because our attack is of universal perturbation. We also consider the different modality-based model, like which leverage the channel state information to sense the surrounding or use the channel state information to predict the downstreaming channel from the oblique channel. And our attack also showed a strong transferability. So in conclusion, we introduced the Magmaw, a novel virus attack framework for deteriorating the next machine learning driven next generation virus communication system. And Magmaw is general to target different machine learning driven virus models. And we also open source our code for to raise the security problem in the next generation virus network. And thank you for listening, and please let me know if you have a question.
Thanks for the talk. How does your approach tackle the attacker channel variation? Because there was this HA that you also incorporated in your study, but does this affect the performance anyhow?
Yeah, thank you for the great question. And we assume the wireless environment is a Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi receiver like frequently or like occasionally send like a wireless preamble to any of the device around the wireless receiver side. And adversary receive the wireless preamble from the receiver side. And this is the vulnerability in the wireless, like a Wi-Fi protocol. And adversary exploit this or like drawback of the Wi-Fi and then use it to generate a strong perturbation.
Hey, am I missing something? But because I mean, in physical layer, right, you can do jamming, right? So what's the difference between jamming and this attack? So what kind of ML property are you actually degrading compared to just physical layer jamming?
Yeah, that's also a very great question. And we compare the baseline with the random Gaussian-based jamming perturbation. And this perturbation is not crafted explicitly to target the machine learning model. And this has some limitation in like degrading the signal performance. And our perturbation is like using the optimization problem to craft the optimal perturbation so that with the same amount of jamming power, our perturbation has a greater attack performance. Does it make sense to you?
Hi, my name is Justin. Thanks for the great talk. I was wondering about the physical setup of your attack when you're sending the perturbations. Are you sending it is there some timing constraints when you're sending the perturbations in regards to the wireless transmission that's happening at the same time, or are you like sending something continuously and when the transmission happens, then the attack works?
Oh yeah, so because of the time limit, so I skipped this part, but it's like a universal perturbation. Like if we consider generating the perturbation that doesn't degrade our attack performance even in the time misalignment, and we can train this way, like considering this kind of constraint in the perturbation training process.
Okay, cool. And so you can send something, and I think there's some parts where like the perturbations are like minimized. So like even if you're sending something when your like target is not transmitting, it's like okay on your performance of your attack. Is that correct?
Do you mean that victim there, if there is no victim transmission, if my attack?
Yeah, like you're still sending your perturbations,
Yeah.
but then like you don't know exactly when your victim is going to be transmitting. That's a scenario that's been considered.
Our perturbation doesn't require like the victim transmission time or receive time. We don't. This is like agnostic to our. This is our attack is agnostic to the time misalignment. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.